You clicked on this video because you want to look like this guy, and you want to look like that guy, and you want to look like this guy, don't you? Well, I'm here to explain to you how to get vegan muscle on a vegan diet as a vegan. Excuse me for talking too fast. I know that comment is going to come up like 100 times, but I've drinking my coffee. I'm ready to go to the gym, and I thought this would be the perfect time to explain this question, which I get all the time, which is how do I gain muscle as a vegan? There's all sorts of different reasons that people say they haven't been able to gain muscle or they can't gain muscle, and I'm giving you my top 5 or top 6 pieces of advice for gaining muscle as a vegan. You got to eat more food. This is one of the ones that I see is like the biggest problem with people who switch over to a vegan diet or have always been on a vegetarian vegan diet is if you're not gaining weight, even if you're not on a vegan diet, just period. If you're not gaining weight, you're not eating enough calories, period, right? You are absolutely going to put on either muscle or fat if you're eating more calories in a day than you're burning, because your body's going to store that. Then if you're lifting heavy, and we'll get into the rest of it, it's going to go to muscle. So if you're not eating enough calories to gain weight, up the calories more. And it might get to levels that you're not used to. It might go into unprecedented territory for you. When I first started bulking as a 130-pound little boy, I had to eat, it was somewhere around 4,000 calories a day. And to me, that was crazy. I was eating like 2,000, 2,500 calories maybe on a good day. And so for me to eat that many calories was mind-blowing. Now, when I'm bulking, I need to get 4,500 calories minimum up to 5,000 calories. Sometimes I'll go even higher than that. If I get up to like 215, 220 pounds, I have to go up to 6,000 calories. So keep that in mind. In the first place, just to gain muscle, even not as a vegan, you gotta eat a lot of calories. But what I've discovered as a vegan for the last 2 years of bodybuilding, as I switched over to a vegan diet and I ate more whole foods and I was eating way more vegetables, I needed to eat more calories. And I think the reason why is because your body has to spend more calories to digest this more real food, right? This food that has more fiber in it, this food that's actually like vegetables and whole foods, it has to break it down and it spends calories to actually make that happen, which can be kind of an inconvenient thing if you're not really good at eating, or if you're on a diet, right? Like if you're trying to lose fat, then it can actually be a pretty dope thing. So what I suggest, and this is rough, right? You're gonna have to play around with this yourself, is that you eat 15% more calories than you were before you went plant-based and before you started eating whole foods. You gotta follow the principle of progressive overload. Now, I see so many people, not vegan, everybody, having trouble gaining weight, and the reason why, whether your diet's on point or not, is you're doing the same thing every single time in the gym. And this comes from either being new at the gym or getting complacent at the gym. A lot of people will grow up watching dudes do like 100,000 reps, or you see, you know, when people talk about muscle, you see a lot of commercials of dudes just doing a lot of bicep curls, like 1,000 bicep curls. So you think when you go into the gym, what I should do is 100 sit-ups, and then I should go over and grab the lightest dumbbell and do 70 curls, and then I'm gonna be yoked. But realistically, all you have to do is follow, can you tell I have too much energy right now? You just have to follow the principle of progressive overload. Progressive overload is basically the idea of increasing intensity progressively. So as you move forward in time, you're gonna increase the intensity that your body has to go through. Whether that is by increasing the amount of weight that you're doing for the same amount of reps on an exercise, or increasing the amount of reps that you're doing with the same amount of weight on an exercise. Because think about it, even if you're not someone who's been experienced with lifting, it only makes sense, right? That if you're lifting with more reps with the same weight or more weight, that your body is going to have to get bigger to deal with that weight, to handle that amount of weight and that intensity that your body's going through. So if you always are moving forward with your weights or your reps with good form, you absolutely, period, will have to gain more muscle. And if you're not eating enough calories, you won't be able to lift more. All right, you and I both know that this one was coming up, and this one is important, although I feel like it's not too hard to do. Get your protein in. You gotta get your protein in. Now, you've heard me say this a million times, you don't need to get that much protein in, but I will say that a lot of people are still not getting enough protein in, period. If you're someone who eats a lot of processed stuff, you're getting a lot of stuff out of wrappers and crackers and stuff like that, you're not gonna get a lot of protein in. If you're somebody who's eating tons and tons of fruits, or if you're just somebody who's not eating a lot of calories in general, you're not getting enough protein. Now, you really don't need that much protein, which we've gone over a few times. The general figure, again, it's different for everybody, but the general figure is somewhere around 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass per kilogram, sorry, of lean body mass that you have. Meaning that I'm a 210-pound male, I'm somewhere around 95 kilograms if you convert that over. So that means that I would want to get 1 gram per kilogram, so that's 95, or up to 140 grams. So I usually aim for somewhere around 120, 130. The point is that some people are eating rice, fruits, pasta, high carb things, high processed Oreos, ice creams, things like that, and you're not getting enough protein in. So keep in mind of the protein. Now, something that a lot of people take for granted is the idea that when you go plant-based, when you go vegan, you're eating a lot more fruits and vegetables. Thus, you don't really have to worry about your macros being vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, right? And granted, yes, you're gonna get more, get back their hair, you're gonna get more of those things, right? But I still think that nobody really hits 100% of your daily needs for vitamins and for minerals every day through your diet, especially if you're eating various meals and stuff like that. What I suggest you do is, if you don't get a lot of fruits and vegetables in the first place, eat more of those things. You definitely need those. It's gonna be a great source of micronutrients, and make sure that you're getting it from various sources. Don't just eat one type of vegetable all the time. That's gonna get you a lot more of those things. I think that that helps a lot. Personally, I've seen way more gains when my energy levels are up, when my body just feels better, because I can lift better at the gym if I have all those things kind of working in my body correctly. But I take a multivitamin at the end of the day, and the reason why is, again, because it's hard to hit 100% perfectly on every single thing. So multivitamin is kind of like an insurance policy for me with the micronutrients. You gotta lift at least 3 times a week at the gym at minimum, and I seriously think that is a minimum. And lifting 3 times at the gym, you're probably not gonna look like that guy that you're emanating on Instagram, or that girl you're emanating on Instagram. For one, because they're probably lifting 5-6 times a week, because this is probably part of their career, so they have a lot more time to do so. But also probably because they're under that angelic lighting at the gym, so they don't even really look like that in real life. So you're comparing yourself to something that's not real. But my point is that if you want to get super yoked and you wanna look really good and aesthetics, bro, you're gonna have to lift a little bit more. I would say 4 or 5 times is gonna be excellent. 5 or 6 times is like you're going way over extra credit in it, and that's totally awesome. If you are kind of starting out, I would say that a good workout to start with after you've done the basics, you know, getting your like core stronger and just doing like really basic exercises, I would say that when you're trying to put mass on in the beginning, push pull legs routine is really good. You can just Google that, you'll find a ton of different routines out there for that. But then after you've done that, then you can progress to something a little bit more intense. Personally, I do something called low-high-low, L-O-H-I-L-O. Okay, my camera battery is dying, which is funny because I'm talking super fast, but the last one that I would say you have to do is lift heavy. So many of us, and I personally, I like to lift in the 8 to 12 rep range. So many people like to lift those high reps, and 5, 6 plus reps, 5 to 20 reps, that's all awesome. That does myofibrillar and sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is what you need to gain that size and to look all super yoked. But at the same time, you do need to worry about your strength. When you lift in that, 2 reps to 5 rep range with really heavy weight, and you're progressing with that weight every few sessions, what you're doing is something called motor unit recruitment. And basically, when you have more motor units in your muscle, it's a long story short, but basically you're gaining strength. And when you gain strength, you're able to use heavier weights when you do those higher rep ranges, 6 to 15, 6 to 20 reps. You're gonna be able to use a heavier weight when you're building that size, and so the size is gonna get bigger. All right, I think the timing of this video worked out perfectly because my camera is blinking at me. It's super mad, but I got everything out I wanted to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really wanted to drop this out there because I feel like these basic tips are things that are overlooked by so many people, and it makes it freaking impossible if you miss any of these to gain muscle. And so many people will blame that on this, that, and the other, but really, you gotta look at these things, see if you're doing them. If you're not doing them, be a little bit better, be a little bit more disciplined, strict, and do these things, and I guarantee you will gain that vegan muscle that you've been looking for, my friends. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It helps it get out to way more people. If you have any ideas that help people gain muscle, leave them in the comments below, or just thoughts and anything you have to say about this video, leave it in the comments below. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die Myron, mother.